Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of Uchu Sentai Kyuranger episode 29. This was a really good episode. First of all, it primarily took place in the past storyline. We only got one scene at the beginning with the present team having just found the Orion crashing. And so Lucky went back to the past using the Kyutama that they found. It was kind of convenient that they found the time-traveling Kyutama, but still, it did disintegrate when he arrived. But basically, that was all we saw of the present team, which was, I think, nice. I think it would have disjointed this episode in a bad way if we had gone back and forth between this and then some stuff with Naga or whatever. So I like that we only saw them in the beginning and we focused solely on the past stuff. But basically, Lucky went back to right after Dawn had taken them down. Not completely, obviously, otherwise that would have been bad timing. And he met the warrior from the Orion system, and they sort of were debating about what to do. You know, should we try to defeat him here? But how do we get back? Because or should we like go back to the final battle and defeat him there? And there was a lot of like Orion. I'm just gonna call him Orion. Being annoyed with Lucky, basically Lucky's attitude, like, oh, we have to defeat him, you know, just kind of his hot-headedness, I guess you could say. But then sort of, it's kind of, no, as I'm saying it, I'm thinking it's kind of like that classic episode we've gotten in Kyuranger a couple times, where somebody doesn't initially understand Lucky, and then they kind of understand his point of view a little bit more as the episode goes on, and that was kind of that episode for this. That was really weird. I kind of got jumbled up there at the end. Sorry about that. But anyway, what I wanted to say though, while I'm thinking of it, speaking of Lucky, I wanted to bring attention to this because I meant to mention it like a week or two ago, but this week really reminded me is, and I had also mentioned this on Twitter, is that, is it just me or is like Lucky not been as annoying? I think they've done a solid job at sort of gradually making him less annoying, and actually, I wouldn't say he's like a favorite or anything, but I actually have not been annoyed at him in quite a few weeks. Like, they still have his moments of Yosha Lucky, but they're all more toned down and his little more wacky moments, but he seems a lot more balanced now. Not to be confused with Balanced himself. But, like, in this episode in particular, like, he was reacting to situations like a normal person a bit, and I wanted to bring attention to that, because I think it's been pretty well done. But anyway, so we got to see full-fledged, like, what Don Aramage looks like. And he looks pretty cool. Like, he's got a really kind of terrifying-looking monster design, and I honestly did not expect to see him, I was gonna say this early, but we're like more than halfway through the series at this point. But I still didn't necessarily, but like he fully uncloaked himself, so it looks pretty cool. And amongst the fight, we got to see older versions of those generals that we've been fighting in the present. And also, we're getting hints at basically the next story, or the conclusion of this one, I guess. Which is, you know, Shishi Red Orion. Like, when Orion and Lucky were fighting, the Kyutama started to sort of appear above them. And then it's obvious next week he gets the power-up. And I'm curious to see the explanation behind that, other than, you know, it's the Orion system, Orion and stuff like that. And, like, again, I don't want to bring this up too much because we won't know till next week and some of this till the end of the series, but I'm really hoping we do get more explanation as to the powers, other than they just kind of appear in kind of a when they're needed way. But regardless, we got hints at that, like little foreshadowing, and also a pretty obvious foreshadowing when Sergei was talking to Orion about his newborn and how he hadn't seen him yet. And his wife was staying with the newborn in the Shishi system, so pretty much, you know, connecting the dot that, connecting Lucky to him, that he's probably his descendant. I feel like there was something in the scans, or spoilers, but, like, I think it's also possible he's somehow his son and got transported to the future, but he's at the very least a descendant, I think, unless I'm misreading this all wrong, but it seemed like a pretty big clue to me. But so they kind of foreshadowed all of that whole connection and storyline in a neat way. And I'm glad it wasn't like they got the power up at the end of the episode and then, like, you know, cliffhanger. I was glad it was kind of more of a, we're just on the edges of that episode, which was kind of neat. And so I'm not sure what's going on with Dawn. Like, this was more direct, like, we just saw the battle in which Sergei sliced him in half. But now he's obviously in front of him. So I think he has to have some kind of regenerative power, whether he's got multiple lives like Darkon, not Darkon. The bounty hunter guy in space. But regardless, like he's got multiple lives, or like some sort of regenerative ability, like either he can straight up regenerate, or like so long as one cell of him is alive or something. So I'm still not quite sure on that. I feel like I'm dwelling on that more than I should, but just mainly because I thought it would have been cooler if, I mean, it would have made maybe him as a figure less imposing, but it would have been cooler if, like I said, I think a couple weeks ago, if he had been destroyed and like who we're fighting in the present was somebody that took his place somehow. I just thought that would have been kind of a cool twist and sort of make a bigger big bad out of it, but we'll see. Again, I think I'm dwelling on this aspect too much, because the point is right now is that he's alive. There's a good chance we could find out next week, but we'll have to see. But yeah, overall, this was an enjoyable episode, I thought. You know, it moved things along. In a way, it was kind of a setup episode, but it moved things along in kind of a neat way. It set up a pretty solid arc for Lucky with getting this power up, and at the end, Intense, you know, Dawn had basically shot Lucky through the stomach. I mean, we know he's going to be okay, just even without the fact that it's in the preview next week that he gets the power up, like, you know, he's not going to die because he's the main. So, but still, this was a pretty good episode, and I have to say, Kyuranger's been really especially good these last few weeks. They haven't really followed like a traditional Sentai structure, not only in terms of like the way they split the teams up and stuff, but in terms of like, it's not just, oh look, here's a monster, here's like its specific gimmick, here's the Megazord battle. It's been kind of neat the way they've been setting up these arcs. But yeah, overall I found this to be an enjoyable episode, 8.5. I'm really looking forward to next week, and honestly beyond, because unless I'm forgetting some like scans and like information I've read, like my furthest knowledge is was this Naga storyline and she read Orion, so I'm really excited to see what comes next. And again, one of my main wants for the rest of the series is I really hope we do get more of an explanation of the mythology, because I think it could be interesting. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's Dawson Ryder, signing out.